What's up, everybody? It's Alex Leak and Friends NFL podcast back for another week. I'm your host, Alex Leak. We got Dustin on the show as always. What's up, Dustin?
What's up, man? Thanks for having me. Some very interesting storylines this week so far.
Yeah, crazy week of football. We're right in the middle, right in the heat of the NFL season. Week 7 recap episode. This one's going to be a blast. And good to have you on as always. I mean, fun to talk football and a lot to talk about this week. Let's get into it. Thursday night, the 2-4 Saints at the 2-4 Cardinals. DeAndre Hopkins making his season debut for the Arizona Cardinals. Andy Dalton once again starting for the Saints. Um, the Cardinals win 42-34 in Phoenix, improved to 3-4. Big to get DeAndre Hopkins back for the Cardinals, and then they've got Robbie Anderson waiting to join the team as well.
Yeah, that was definitely huge. I mean, you could definitely see the impact that Hopkins made. He came in and had over 100 yards receiving, so that was big right off the hand. And the Cardinals needed this win. Like this was, in my opinion, a must-win game if you're trying to look towards for further into the season.
Yeah, it was a must win for both teams, in my opinion. You know, it was a big difference between 3-4 and 2-5. You don't want to take that loss. The Saints lose. Andy Dalton, continues to struggle. I mean, yeah, he threw for 350 plus yards and 4 touchdowns, but 3 interceptions, back to back pick sixes. Um, I just don't think the Saints are going to win much with Andy Dalton. I would be tempted to put in Taysom Hill, wouldn't you?
Yeah, absolutely. Because Taysom Hill brings other dimensions to your team.
Yeah, he can run, he can throw, he can do a lot of different things. He's a power back, type. Um, I just think Dalton is extremely limited at this point in his career.
Yeah, I agree. And I mean, you just can't go out in prime time on a Thursday night and throw back to back pick sixes.
Yeah, that's something I hadn't seen in a while, and I thought it was pretty funny when I saw it live. Um, I mean, I've been out on Dalton since his last year with the Bengals. When he went 0-9 and got benched in favor of Ryan Finley. And then he had an opportunity to step in for Dak Prescott in Dallas and get the Cowboys into the playoffs. Couldn't do that. He had an opportunity with the Bears and struggled there. And now you're seeing the same in New Orleans. So, you know, I don't think Dalton's a starting caliber quarterback in the NFL anymore. So the Saints are going to struggle as long as he's their quarterback. Sucks that Jameis Winston's been out as long as he has been. What do you think of the Saints? Because it seems like the Saints' season is kind of derailing in front of them, don't you think?
Yeah, I think, without Jameis Winston or without the ability of, because I think Michael Thomas is hurt too, right?
He's been hurt. Jarvis Landry's been hurt.
Yeah, see, without your key guys, you're not going to win very many games, which is a shame because that's a pretty good defense over there. And I mean, in my opinion, I really like watching their defense play, but you're not going to score many points on offense with Dalton as your quarterback and Landry and Thomas being out.
Yeah. So it looks like it's gonna be a long season for the Saints. They're 2-5. Dennis Allen, you're seeing the drop off too from Sean Payton to Dennis Allen, and it's hard to quantify exactly how much you lose when you lose a head coach like Sean Payton.
Oh man, you lose more than you should, and because Sean Payton's just an incredible coach.
Yeah. Speaking of coaches, did you see Kyler Murray and head coach Cliff Kingsbury getting into it early in this game? It looked like Kyler Murray was pretty animated, yelling at Cliff Kingsbury to chill out or calm the hell down. Did you see that?
Yes, I did, and man, there's, I mean, I consider a heat of the moment type thing. Like
Yeah,
it happens in football, but you can tell that they're both frustrated.
Yeah. And I mean at 2-4 they should be. They get a big win, so that's the good news. They get to 3-4, but they're going to the Vikings in week 8. 3-4 Cardinals at the 5-1 Vikings. Another tough matchup. I mean, the Vikings, I believe, should have beaten them last year, but missed a game-winning field goal. Give me the Vikings over the Cardinals in week 8.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm gonna agree with you there. I am taking the Vikings just because I really love this Vikings team. I think they're special.
And it's an opportunity for them to get to 6-1. So we'll see if they can show up and get the job done. For the Saints, they're gonna host the 2-4 Raiders. 2-4 Raiders at the 2-5 Saints. Again, a must win for both teams. Who do you think? I mean, I tend to think the Raiders are the better team and should get the win. What do you think?
Who are the Raiders playing?
At the Saints.
Oh yeah, give me the Raiders because I just think that the Saints are down, and I don't even know if they're going to come into this game ready to play.
Yeah. So that'll be interesting to see for sure. Let's go to Sunday. The 2-4 Browns at the 3-3 Ravens. A big game, very big game for the Ravens. Coming off a bad loss, they need to right the ship, get back above 500. They do that, take care of business with a 23-20 win over the Browns. Cleveland rookie kicker Cade York misses a game-tying 61-yard field goal with 2 minutes left. I mean, the Ravens really tried to give away another game, but they're lucky to come out with a win.
Yeah, you know, first of all, that's a lot of pressure for a rookie kicker trying to make him go 61 yards.
Yeah,
You
absolutely.
know, I don't blame him for missing that. I mean, you probably would have wanted to hit it, but that's a rookie kicker trying to tie the game up, kicking from 61 yards away. But anyways, yeah, Ravens were about to give away another game, but interesting fact for everybody: Jim Harbaugh, I think, is 22-5 or 23-5 as a coach against Cleveland. So, hey,
Yes. Yeah, and they needed it. How about this? Lamar Jackson held to less than 200 yards combined and 0 touchdowns.
yeah, that's it's concerning. I mean, Ravens fans can't act like they're not concerned a little bit because there has been a drop off. You know, Lamar started playing very, very good. What the first 4 weeks I would say he was considered an MVP candidate, and then there's just been a drop off from there. But he'll be back. I think they're just going through a struggle right now.
Yeah, most importantly, it's a win, right? They get to 4-3. They're right there, battling for the lead in the division. I believe they have the tiebreaker over the Bengals, right? So they
Yeah.
should be in first place.
And let me say this: so if they start peaking and peak at the right time and peak going into the playoffs, in my opinion, next to the Chiefs, they are the biggest threat to the Bills.
Well, they are, but one of the biggest things that's going to hold them back is lack of receiver. Lack of that number one receiver, that go-to guy. I guess Mark Andrews is their wide receiver one, but your number one option. But I like this Ravens team, but Super Bowl contender, I don't think so. I think they need to be more aggressive and get some more talent on the roster. We all know Lamar is special, but outside of Lamar, who's the guy that scares you on this team? Maybe Mark Andrews, but not a lot of weapons there.
Yeah, I agree. But I mean, I was just saying, like, their defensive wise and everything, they have the talent to be able to compete with the best.
Yeah, and linebacker Justin Houston gets 2 sacks on the game for the Ravens, 4 sacks on the season. He had 4.5 all of 2021, so a nice bounce back season so far from Justin Houston, the veteran.
He's still out there doing it, huh?
Yeah, absolutely. This is something that's kind of just snuck up on me. Thursday night football. Do you know who's playing this Thursday night?
Oh, it is the Ravens and the Bucks.
Yes, big game. 4-3 Ravens at the 3-4 Bucks. This is going to be a lot of fun to watch and a must win for Tampa Bay, in my opinion. They need to beat Lamar and the Ravens to get back to 500.
Absolutely, man. Could you imagine Tom Brady starting 3-5. I don't think I've ever seen that since maybe the first time he took over as a rookie.
Yeah. Um, but give me the Bucks. Give me the Bucks in this game. I think they get the win. It's,
Um,
it's hard
ooh,
to win in the NFL, man. You're gonna have two teams sitting at like 500 through 8 weeks. It's tough to get consecutive wins. Teams always adjust, and it's just hard as grind out games every week.
they do, and another. This is another team here who, if they peak at the right time, could come out of the NFC.
Oh,
So
absolutely. The
um,
league this year seems more wide open than it has been in the last couple years.
so I think Brady's back is against the wall, and his back hasn't been against the wall in a long time. And what happens when you're the greatest quarterback to ever play? If your back's against the wall, you're gonna come out and shut everybody up, right?
Yeah, like it's easy to sleep on the Falcons and take the Panthers for granted. He's not taking the Ravens and Lamar Jackson for granted. I think the Bucks take care of business and get this win. But either way, that's going to be a great game on Thursday night. The 4-3 Bengals at the 2-5 Browns. If you remember, the Browns started the season 2-1, but four straight losses have them now sitting at 2-5. Can they snap that four-game losing streak at home against the Bengals?
Whoa. No.
You got Cincy.
Yep.
I don't know. I think this is going to be a good game. The Browns might be able to steal it. I'm going to keep an eye on that game. The Bengals should win, but rivalry games it sometimes throw out the records. And
Yeah.
with on a four-game losing streak, the Browns are going to be desperate to get right the ship.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah. But the Bengals offense has found their identity and they're firing right now.
Yeah, they were on fire this last week. Bucks Panthers 3-3 Bucks at the 1-5 Panthers. The Panthers stunned Tampa Bay 21-3 for just their second win of the season. PJ Walker 150 plus yards, two touchdowns, no turnovers. PJ Walker comes in and does his thing, but the Bucks aren't going to win many games only putting up 3 points on offense.
Yeah, not at all. And this surprised me. I mean, because to me, the Panthers are awful, bro.
Yes, I agree.
You know what I'm saying? I would take Detroit over Carolina. The Panthers are just
Yeah.
awful. So, but you know, it's a rivalry game. Brady has a lot going on. That's I'm not going to mention anything about it, but he has a lot going on right now, and the team is dealing with major injuries too.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna give him any excuses for off the field stuff. Brady's a professional. He's got to handle his business on the field, and it's an inexcusable loss to fall to 3-4 to lose to the Panthers. They need to take these teams seriously, and I think this Ravens game coming up is a good, you know, attitude adjustment game. And I think they get right. They get a big win at home, get back to 500 because that's unacceptable. Mike Evans, speaking of taking a team lightly, do you see that drop Mike Evans had that would have been an automatic touchdown?
Oh yeah, that was a beautiful throw by Tom
Yeah.
Brady. Mike Evans, you have to catch that.
Yeah, you're a wide receiver one in the NFL. You have to catch that. So I think the Bucks bounce back. Carolina, it should be a long season for the Panthers as they head towards a rebuild. The Panthers at 2-5 go to the Falcons, who are 3-4. Good opportunity for Atlanta to get back to 500, don't you think?
Yeah, absolutely. And I kind of like Atlanta. I think they're not great, they're not good, but they're improving. And for them to have the record they have for you know having Marcus Mariota as their quarterback, hats off to them.
Yeah, credit to them, but their defense got absolutely torched on Sunday. The Bengals, they go to Cincy. The Bengals go up 21 nothing and win 35-17. Joe Burrow combines for 500 yards, four touchdowns, and no turnovers. Big games from Tyler Boyd and Jamar Chase.
See,
Do you think the Bengals are hitting their stride and are going to try to make a run for this division?
Absolutely. That offense is firing now. And Joe Burrow is healthy and because the first couple weeks I gave him a pass because he had that appendix surgery or whatever it was, so I feel like he didn't come in ready, but now he's ready. Jamar
Well,
Chase, all them.
the O line seems to be playing better as well. We had our concerns about the offensive line early in the season.
Yes, absolutely. And man, he just has an embarrassment of riches when they're all on the same page.
Yep. So that Bengals at Browns game is going to be on Monday Night Football. So we're going to get a good look at that game and see how the Bengals look on prime time in Cleveland in the dog pound. I mean, if they, blow the Browns out, everyone's going to be on Cincy's nuts. But I don't expect a blowout. I expect a good game, a good hard fought game. Maybe the Browns pull the upset. We'll see.
Yeah, I mean, the Browns always play tough there, so
Yeah. And maybe Cincy's feeling themselves a little too much after that. Everything was going right on offense. You go into the dog pound at night, it gets hard to move the ball. The Browns defense plays well. You never know.
yeah, absolutely. I agree.
The Lions at the Cowboys. Dak Prescott finally returning from injury, so Cowboys fans had to be excited. The Lions coming off their bye, looking to turn things around after a really bad loss a couple weeks ago. The Lions actually lead in this game at 6-3 at halftime. In Jerry World, the Cowboy fans had to be stressing, but they get it going in the second half and win 24-6 as Dak throws his first touchdown of the season. It took Dak long enough to get that first touchdown, huh?
Yeah, how crazy is that? Where it's about to be week 8 coming up, and he throws his first touchdown in week 7.
But I mean, injuries, played a role. What did you think? Lions were leading 6-3. Were you worried about the Cowboys at all? Throughout this game?
I mean, I wasn't worried about him because I know their defense, but I was sitting there wondering at times, like, if Cooper was playing, maybe is this a different score right now?
Yeah, and
You know?
Dak's gonna be a little rusty in his first game back. Do you think he started to get it going in the second half?
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, Dak looked pretty good in the second half.
Yeah,
And I know, it's the Cowboys and they have a history of blowing things, but I think this Cowboys team is pretty good.
yeah, and they're in a tough division, so it's gonna be really interesting to see how that division shakes out. Maybe they get three teams in the playoffs, or maybe they eat each other, and we'll see how it all goes down. The Lions should have had a 10-6 lead in the fourth quarter. They had an opportunity on a pass to tight end Brock Wright, but the officials marked him out at the 1 yard line. They could have challenged it, but they didn't. They give it to Jamal Williams on first and goal, and he fumbles, and the Cowboys recover it. A terrible turnover at their own 1 yard line. And that's just Lions football, isn't it? You got an opportunity to take the lead. And, you know, what do you think? I mean, Dan Campbell should have challenged that, don't you think?
Yeah, absolutely. Because in my opinion, from the video I saw, that was a touchdown.
It looked like it. I mean, it was really damn close, but it did look like it was close enough to challenge. And then, I mean, how about the bad luck? You run the ball first and goal at the one. You think you're just gonna punch it in, and Jamal Williams, who I know you're high on, fumbles the ball at the one. Just Lions football, right? When anything can go wrong, it does.
Yep. And, you know, I hate to say it, but bad teams make those kind of mistakes.
Yeah, and if they had pulled a shocking win, then everyone would be singing their praises. But choke the game away, and everyone's gonna, drag you accordingly, right?
Yeah. And I mean, I wouldn't say that they choked it away because they were never in the lead or, nobody really had them winning this game. But did they make mistakes to give the game away? Yeah, they did.
Yeah. Lions rookie safety Kirby Joseph. hits Noah Brown, forcing a fumble as the Cowboys entered the red zone right before halftime. He looks like a nice young player. Safety Kirby Joseph, third round pick out of Illinois. You know him?
Yeah, I do, and he is a good player, and he's gonna be nice.
He's a
Just
nice hard hitting safety.
I'm glad to see a lot of these rookies that were drafted. Man, some of them are having a big year.
Yep. Another rookie, Cowboys second round pick defensive end out of Ole Miss, Sam Williams, records 2 sacks and a forced fumble in this game.
Oh yeah, um, another good athlete, and man, you added him to that Cowboys already pretty damn good defensive line. Watch
Yeah,
out.
yeah. Demarcus Lawrence, and then you got Micah Parsons rushing the
Yeah.
passer as well. Trayvon Diggs records his third interception of the season. Uh, still doing his thing. So let's be honest real quick. Let's talk Jared Goff for a second. He throws for 200 plus yards, but 0 touchdowns and 4 turnovers. That's kind of referencing what I've been talking about this offseason about Goff is okay, he's decent, he can throw the ball, he can move the ball down the field. One of the things that's always really concerned me about Jared Goff is the turnovers, though. 4 of them on Sunday.
Okay, get ready for this one, Alex. This is where I
Yeah.
praise you and tell you you were right.
Now, like totally or on Sunday? Like Jared Goff as a whole or just on Sunday?
Jared Goff as a whole, man, I tried and tried to sing his praises, but week by week he just shows me that I'm wrong. I wanted to believe in Jared Goff, but I just I'm starting to lose faith.
Yeah, I mean, you're not going to win many games with 4 turnovers. He's got to clean that up. And that's the biggest thing. The Lions have good young pieces. They really do. They're building something, they're building it in the trenches, but they don't have a quarterback. That's the biggest single piece missing from this team is quarterback. And that's why I think this offseason they should try to go get someone like CJ Stroud or a big, uh, top pick quarterback.
It's going to come down to C.J. Stroud or Bryce Young.
Yeah. Who would you take?
Ooh, you hit me
I
with that.
I'm leaning CJ Stroud because the Ohio State connection, it just seems to make sense in Detroit.
I mean, yeah, give me C.J. Stroud just because Young is a great player. Trust me, he's a fantastic quarterback. But C.J. Stroud just has it. He has the stand in the pocket and throw on you all day long type of ability.
Yeah.
He he reminds me of exactly of like a Justin Fields type.
Yeah.
He can move but has a big arm.
Yeah. Yeah, and the Lions could really use a nice young quarterback like that. That would certainly get the hype going in their favor. Rookie defensive end Aiden Hutchinson records 1.5 sacks in the game. He seems to be boom or bust so far in his NFL career. If you remember, he had a 3 sack game in week 2 and has had zeros the rest of the season until on Sunday he goes for 1.5. That gives him 4.5 on the season. So it's like he's either getting multiple sacks or giving you nothing.
Yeah, you know, he's a rookie. I wouldn't call him a bust just yet.
No, I'm
So,
just game to game. I don't think he's a bust overall, and I think he'll figure that out too.
yeah, he'll get better. And I mean, in my opinion, currently, right now, as a rookie, I think he's the Lions' best defensive player they got.
Probably, yeah. I mean,
So he'll get better. He just has to learn how to be more consistent, but that will come with reps and that'll come with experience.
yeah, and you're seeing the upside. You're seeing why you drafted him for those big games. So,
Yeah, for
um, week 8, it's going to be the 3-4 Bears at the 5-2 Cowboys. A big opportunity for the Cowboys to get to 6-2 and keep the pace with the Eagles and the Giants. Do you think the Cowboys can take care of business at home against the Bears?
Ooh, after last night's game, man, Chicago showed me something.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know if I should start drinking that juice yet. That's a question I want to ask you. Should I start drinking the Chicago juice? Because I mean, last night, man, they were pretty impressive.
They were, but don't drink the juice yet. I want to see it. We all want to see it multiple games in a row before we're gonna, jump on board the ship. Um, they need to prove it to us. Get if they go into Dallas and get a big road win like they did on Monday night, then we'll start hyping the Bears. If they get back to 500 and they've got back-to-back road wins, then let's go. But do I expect them to go into Jerry World and get a win on Sunday? No, I don't. Give me the Cowboys to get the 6-2.
Hear me out. Man, didn't that Bears defense look like the Bears defense of old for a second there?
It does, but it helps when you got young Patriot quarterbacks giving you the ball. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah,
And
but
they're not, they lost Khalil Mack, they lost Akeem Hicks. They got some playmakers, but are the Bears a top 10 defense? No, I don't think they are.
and man, let me tell you, Raekwon Smith had a big game last night.
Pay Roquan Smith. Make that guy the highest paid linebacker. He deserves it. He balls out on a weekly basis. These Bears fans got to stop trying to justify saving someone else's money.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Pay that guy. He's the heartbeat of your defense, maybe even the heartbeat of your team, to be honest.
Yeah, he's the best player, I think. Him and Justin Fields, 1A, 1B. Um, 4-3 Dolphins at the 1-5 Lions on Sunday. The Dolphins are trying to get back on a winning streak. Lions are trying to figure it out. You know, how do you think this game goes? Do the Lions have a shot against Tua and the Dolphins' explosive offense?
Oh man, this is where the Lions have to go 1-6. I think the Dolphins are better under Tua. If this was Bridgewater or Thompson, I would pick Detroit, but I just think that the Miami Dolphins firing on all cylinders with Tua.
So, real quick, I want to get your assessment of these Lions. Going into the season, when we were talking preseason, you were high on the Lions' potential. You weren't picking them to win the division, but you were like, look, if they can, I like what they're building, I like their culture, they're trending in the right direction. And I agree, they are. They're trending in the right direction. But I felt like they're a couple years away. You said maybe a little sooner they can become good. If they fall to 1-6 on Sunday, they're 1-5 now. I mean, what are your thoughts? Is this team, because that's lower than you expected? You thought this team could be more competitive than this. What is holding this team back, do you think?
I didn't see it at first, but now I do. It's quarterback.
Yeah.
You
Is
know
it simply that?
that, and they have playmakers, but they need the playmaker. They
Yeah.
need you know maybe go out and get one more weapon. You know that'd be cool. Like somebody who's a free agent, or go in the draft, get a quarterback, and get somebody in the second round who you think is going to be somebody who makes plays.
Do you have any second guesses? If you remember, the Lions drafted Penei Sewell when the Bengals took Jamar Chase. Is there any thoughts in your head that maybe the Lions should have taken Justin Fields and they'd be a lot better off right now?
Yes, not only that, but the Lions should have took Malik Willis.
Yeah. Then they could be playing the young guy instead of wasting their time with Jared Goff.
That's the issue with Detroit. It seems like they just can't hit the draft very well.
Well, and they've said it all along. This is a long rebuild. This is a 3 or 4 year rebuild. That's why when some people on Facebook and Twitter were like, "Keep sleeping on the Lions. They're gonna win, 7, 8, 9 games this year." I was like, "Man, I'm believing what the Lions have told me from day one, that this is a long rebuild. They're coming in to build through the trenches, build around the team, and then go get their guy." And so that's why I think we need to be patient with this Lions team. If you're a Lions fan, you're optimistic about where they're headed, but be patient at the same time, don't you think?
I mean, I agree. So, do you think Dan Campbell is the guy? Because look, if you look at Detroit's history, I know even during rebuilds, they still fire the coach. It's like you're trying to rebuild, but you bring in a whole new administration there. So, Do you think that they're gonna keep Dan Campbell during the rebuild, or are they gonna give him the boot?
That's a tough question to answer because I mean, that's what you should do, right? If you're hiring a head coach and you're telling him that this is going to be a rebuild, then you have to have patience with him. You have to allow. Remember when the Browns did Hugh Jackson dirty, and they kept bringing up his record, like 3-30 record. We got to fire him, right? And it's
Mhm.
like, bro, you knew all along that you were stripping the roster of weapons and completely rebuilding. You know it's going to be a tough to win any games. So how are you going to fire the coach when you know yourself that it's tough to win, right? So,
Absolutely.
but the question comes when the Lions do go get, let's say they draft C.J. Stroud, and Dan Campbell's the coach, and they go 5-12, 6-11. The question then becomes, do you fire Dan Campbell to bring in a proven head coach? If you can go get a Jim Harbaugh or if you can go get a Sean Payton with the roster now that you believe can contend in the division, do you then go upgrade the head coach or do you stay the course with Dan Campbell who built it from the ground up? That's the tough question.
It is a tough question, and in my opinion, if you're gonna go get that quarterback, you need to at least give the current coach a couple years with him.
Yeah,
You just can't bring in a quarterback and be like, okay, you have 1 year to make this guy good.
yeah.
That
Well, you have to make that decision right then and there. Are we going to be patient with the head coach, or is it more important for us and the quarterback to get a head coach that we fully trust to develop him? And so that's
but
the tough question.
but you want to do that before you draft that guy.
Yeah, exactly. So
Because if you draft CJ Stroud and go out and get a Harbaugh or a Peyton or, even somebody who's an offensive coordinator right now or a defense coordinator in the league, Leslie Frazier or somebody of that caliber, you want CJ Stroud to go in there knowing who's going to be the guy developing him.
yeah, and you want him to be in a comfortable position to develop from day one. So it'll
Yep.
be interesting. I have said this all along that maybe the Lions might end up doing Dan Campbell dirty. A lot of teams do. They don't care. They say thanks for helping us with the rebuild. Enjoy your shitty record. We're on to the next head coach. So it's tough to say.
Look at what they did to Caldwell. Took him to the
Yep.
play a winning season, and then you just fire him.
Lions haven't exactly been the most loyal franchise in football history. So look at how they treated Calvin Johnson and Barry Sanders on the way out after all they did for the franchise.
Yep. And that's
So
why and that's why you don't win.
yep. Giants, Jags. The Jags, I picked Jacksonville to win this. I was going out on a limb here. It was an upset pick, and I was rooting hard, and they come 1 yard away. They get the ball down to the one, but the Giants defense holds tall, stands tall to win 23-17 in Jacksonville and improve to 6-1. You see this game, and especially the ending, man. Trevor Lawrence almost had the game-winning touchdown.
Yeah, and that would have been huge for Trevor Lawrence too, man. You know,
I
people
mean,
were
if you remember last week, he had the go-ahead touchdown late against the Colts. It's just Pat Ryan delivered the final blow. But Trevor Lawrence, even though he was just 1 yard away, he's making the plays to keep his team in all these games.
yeah, absolutely. I agree. And you know, the Giants are a pretty good team, and if the Jags would have beat them, man, that would have been a huge win and a huge confidence booster.
Yeah, and credit to the Giants. They're 6-1. No one would have anticipated this. Credit to Daniel Jones. He goes for 309 yards, 2 touchdowns, no turnovers. And I saw a stat. Everyone's been ever since Daniel Jones came in his first 2 years when he was a turnover machine, he's been labeled that ever since then. And if you actually look at the numbers and the stats, his touchdown, his interception and fumble rates have been getting lower and lower every year. So maybe he's starting to turn into a pretty good quarterback if he can protect the ball and not turn it over, the Giants can win games.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know, the Giants picked a perfect head coach, bro. You know, if you see him every game before the game, he's fired up. You know, he's ready to go. He's got them boys ready to play. And if there's a better guy, if there's not, sorry, if there's the guy to make Daniel Jones play to his skill set, it's Brian Dable.
Yeah, and Saquon Barkley plays a major role in that as well. Nice to see him going for 135 combined yards.
And Dable,
Looking, go ahead.
let's not forget, Dable was a huge factor in developing Josh Allen.
Yep,
So,
but I agree 100%. And I wish the Bears had hired Dable. And he's on fire right now, and he's getting a lot of praise as he should. But I got something negative to say about Brian Dable. Are you ready?
okay, what's that?
Do you see him firing up that victory cigar post game?
Yeah.
All right, so you can you like look, I'm all for enjoying wins. I'm all for enjoying a hot start, getting out to 6-1. Shouldn't he save that victory cigar for a conference championship or a Super Bowl or
I mean,
even a division championship?
yeah, but I was seeing that that's just who he is.
That's fine. And if more power to him. Enjoy the win. You're 6-1. That's awesome. Here's the splash of cold water though. I don't think this Giants team is for real. I don't think they're a contender. I don't think they win the division, and they might, emphasis might, still miss the playoffs.
Ooh, starting at 6-1.
They might. We've seen crazier.
We
And
have.
they're in a very tough division. You got the Cowboys right on their necks, and you've got the Eagles ahead of them. You know what I mean? Even as of right now, they'd be a wild card.
Is this last year's Cardinal team?
I don't think that they're frauds. Okay, I don't think they're frauds. I don't think, the biggest thing for the Cardinals is their head coach. I like Brian Dable, but I think naturally the Giants are going to come back down to earth. I don't think they're a 13-win team. I think they're more of a 10, 11-win team.
Well,
And at best, honestly,
in the NFC, 10 or 11 wins get you into the playoffs.
they probably make the playoffs as a wild card. But the thing is, Dallas is right there, so we'll see how the NFC East shapes out. I think the Cowboys are a better team than the Giants, and they already have the head-to-head, right?
I believe so, but
Yeah,
they do. They,
the
they
Cowboys went into New York and got that win.
yeah, they will
So
play again.
that's
Though.
there's a head-to-head. If the Cowboys win at home, then they got the sweep of the Giants, and I think the Giants lose in Week 8. You see who they're playing?
No, who are they playing?
6-1 Giants at the 4-3 Seahawks in Seattle with
Ooh.
that crowd noise. Seahawks are playing better than a lot of people think, or a lot of people expected. Give me the Seahawks over the Giants on Sunday.
Ooh, I don't know, man. I'm gonna go Giants, but man, can I say something, man? Hats off to Geno Smith.
Geno Smith, Pete Carroll, and how about Kenneth Walker the third?
Yeah, absolutely, man. At Michigan State, we all knew he was a man amongst boys. But
Yeah,
when you go to the National Football League and you rush for over 160 yards, that right there is just proving that you belong and you are a man amongst boys sometimes.
yeah. He's a monster. I love his running style. He's a power back, but he has good vision. He's a patient runner, kind of like Le'Veon Bell. And then it's one cut and he's gone. Like he makes that one cut and you're not catching him.
Yeah, hear me out, right? Rashad Penny is great, and it's unfortunate that he got injured, but maybe this was the best thing for the Seahawks.
Oh, that's an upgrade in my opinion. And he's a star. He's a star from day one in my opinion. So, I've been preaching it all season. Look out for Kenneth Walker. He's going to continue to do his thing. Hopefully he stays healthy because he's got star written all over him. So Giants at Seahawks. Whether I'm right or wrong, that should be a great game. I expect Seattle to play very well, and that home crowd always plays a factor.
Is that a 1 o'clock game?
I think it's a 4:15, 4:25.
Oh, I won't be able to watch it, unfortunately.
Um, the 2-5 Broncos against the 2-5 Jags in London Sunday morning at 9:30. So we're gonna get a national TV good view of Broncos and Jags. Man, give me Jacksonville. I think Russell Wilson's supposed to play. Still, give me Jacksonville.
I have to agree. Jacksonville, because Russell Wilson is injured. Let's all, face the truth. And we've seen how it's not the same injury, but it's close to what Baker Mayfield had last year.
Yeah.
And, you know,
Well, now he's dealing with a hamstring as well.
yeah, man, if I was him, I would just sit him and let him get healthy.
Yeah. So I mean, well, look, if they lose that game and fall to 2-6, Broncos are going to start reevaluating their season pretty quickly.
And, I don't know when is the last time it happened, but I very well believe that Nathaniel Hackett could be one and done.
Oh yeah, I think at this point he'll be lucky to survive the season, and so he might get Urban Meyered out of here.
You brought Russell Wilson there to compete for a Super Bowl.
Yeah, absolutely.
And you're falling short because of your game management and the decisions you're making. And, I mean, you can't completely 100% put it on him, but Russ being hurt and all that, obviously. But you're the head coach. It all comes back to you.
Yeah, and a lot of people are saying Nathaniel Hackett was hired to help get Aaron Rodgers, right? And that would have been a really good fit since they worked together in Green Bay. Hackett and Russell, just for whatever reason, might not be a good combination.
Yep.
And it'll definitely Russell's not blameless. Russell needs to get healthy as well and play better as well. So, but we all know Brett Ripien isn't going to get it done. So,
Huh. He's still in the league.
Let's go Colts at Titans. Your Colts at the Titans. Titans looking for a sweep and a battle for first place in the AFC South. Titans jump out to a 13-0 first half lead. First of all, those you've heard me preach about it all season long. The Colts slow starts to the game, and they get themselves down double digits before they even get started on offense. Do you see that? What do you think is the reason for that?
It comes back to being prepared, Alex. It's preparing your team to come out and have fast starts. I don't know what it is, but obviously Frank Reich is not doing something right in practice. That's where it starts. And kudos to the defense, bro. They did not give up an offensive touchdown.
Well, and real quick to that point, I remember Kyle Shanahan, Andy Reid, Matt Nagy. I remember multiple offensive play callers talking about how they would script the first 10 to 15 plays of a game to help them get off to a hot start. They would practice and script those first plays. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely.
And I wonder if Frank Reich's not doing that or if he's really struggling at it because for whatever reason, and I put a lot on the offensive play caller, they're consistently really bad starts.
Well, how about this? How about Frank Reich? You hire an offensive analyst or an offensive coordinator. You don't need to be calling plays. Do your job and coach.
Yeah.
Like hand the plays off to hire somebody you trust, hand them the playbook and say, look, I'm the head coach. I got to evaluate everything. Offense, defense, special teams, blah, 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 and you focus on getting this right. You get the offense going. You figure out skill sets, for whoever the quarterback is. You get JT the ball. I mean, come on now. You ran Jonathan Taylor 10 times, and he was averaging almost 4 yards a carry. Why
he was
stop?
Averaging almost 6 yards a carry. He averaged 5.8 yards per carry.
Okay, well, I was a little off, but
Is that's
uh,
impressive. How does he only get 10 carries with a 5.8 yards per carry?
that's what I'm saying, bro. That's a first down every 2 carries.
Yeah.
You know, why stop? I understand he's limited, but Jonathan Taylor wanted to run the ball. You could tell.
Yeah, and you're playing the Titans who have Derrick Henry over there. Just play smash mouth football. Go punch for punch with the Titans and see who's the tougher team. Instead, Frank Reich likes to get away from the running game. We've talked about this for years, and I understand 2 weeks ago, 2 weeks ago, both Taylor and Hines were out injured. So of course you're gonna pass the ball more. Matt Ryan threw it, I think, 58 times that game. But now that your top two running backs are back, run the ball, right?
Absolutely. And man, I don't know. It's Frank, man. He's just not making the the right choices, which is why I'm saying, okay, Ursay, if you were to keep him next year, make him hire somebody, an offensive analyst, like I said, or offensive coordinator, somebody who can go out there and call the plays themselves and take the pressure off of you.
Yeah. And we'll get to that a little bit more here in a second. I mean, so the Titans win 19-10, sweep the Colts, take over first place the AFC South. You know, I can understand you being upset about this, but we have to give the Titans a little bit of credit. A lot of us were sleeping on the Titans in the preseason, and they started the season 0-2. But to their credit, since then, four straight wins for the Titans.
Oh yeah, let me tell you, that defense is very underrated.
Yeah, and and Derrick Henry's still doing his thing. He goes for 128 yards. Um, the defense doing their thing. So Matt Ryan throws a pick six to Titan safety Andrew Adams. Um, do you think so? Matt Ryan leads the NFL in interceptions with 9, leads the NFL in fumbles with 11, and leads the NFL in sacks with 24. Do you think that's the major reason Matt Ryan was benched?
Um, you know what? I think that there's more to it, in my opinion, Alex. I mean, I know Matt Ryan struggled, but let's not forget this guy is a 15-year veteran. People struggle. I mean, look at the year other guys are having. Nobody in this league besides Josh Allen and really maybe one or two other guys is actually sticking out as having a great season. First of all,
Mm-hmm.
secondly, you just don't bench a guy who just won you a game the previous week. And
Game winning drive, game winning touchdown, back against the wall, massive win. You
and
know,
okay, you brought him in to be the guy. So
yeah,
last year, Carson Wentz starts 2-5, and or actually, I think it was 1-5 if I'm not mistaken.
yeah.
Anyways, you stick with him throughout the whole season. You could have brought Sam in then. So what's the difference is I don't know what's going on over there in Indianapolis. I can say I'm not happy about it, but it
So let
is.
me ask you this real quick. They announced Matt Ryan suffers a grade 2 shoulder separation. All right, injuries happen. He was getting hit a lot, so it makes sense. Sure, he's injured. All right. That's typically a 2 to 4 week injury. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Why does Frank Reich go out of his way to say that the that Sam Ellinger is the quote starter for the rest of the season? He went out of his way to say that, and he went out of his way to say this was a move that would have been made regardless of the injury. So they went out of their way to say we are benching Matt Ryan regardless of the injury. My question is why?
That's what's crazy to me, Alex. Is that is
Exactly, because you can easily take the politically correct route and say, yeah, he got injured, shoulder separation, out 2 to 4 weeks. Sam Ellinger's in there in the meantime, and we'll evaluate when Matt Ryan gets healthy. We'll see how Sam does in the meantime. But to in week 7 or week 8 to stand up there in front of everyone and say he's benched regardless and he's out for the season. That's wild, bro.
You know what? I'm not even like I'm not gonna go on a rant, but bro, to me, that is disrespectful as an organization. Okay,
Yeah,
you first of all, you know what you got when you got Matt Ryan. Okay,
exactly.
he's a 37-year-old quarterback. He's a former MVP. He's
Guaranteed they did all their homework on Matt Ryan before they signed him.
absolutely because you could have went out and got Jimmy Garoppolo, a
Yep.
Baker Mayfield, somebody
Yep.
else. You could have even drafted a guy, but instead you went out and you got who you thought was your guy over Carson Wentz. And to me, it's still an improvement over Wentz. I don't care what nobody says, you know.
Yeah.
And yet you treat him like this, like you just robbed the guy of his season where he could have been playing somewhere else right now. Detroit could have used a quarterback. Carolina could have used a guy.
Yep.
I
Yeah.
mean,
Yeah. A lot of different teams. Seattle, Denver, etc. Denver before Russell.
what I sent you earlier, where Frank Reich was talking about, well, we sat down with Matt. We promised them, we had a good run game. We had a good O line. We had a good this. Well, that all falls on you as a coach. Quit making him throw the ball 40 times a game. That
Well, to me, exactly. You quit asking him to carry the offense. You got Jonathan Taylor for a reason. We all said in the preseason, if the Colts are going to go on a Super Bowl run, who's going to have to carry him? Jonathan Taylor and the O line
absolutely. And
and the
uh,
defense, not the quarterback.
another thing is the incompetence. I mean, give this man somebody to throw the ball to.
Yeah, but let's be real. Let's take a step back here. Why are we panicking? The Colts are 3-3-1. I understand it's a really bad loss to the Titans. You really wanted to win that game. It sucks that you're out of first place and swept by the Titans. I get it. But let's be real. You're 3-3-1. Who else is struggling? The Rams are 3-3. The defending champs are three
Tampa
and three. The Bucks are 3-4. The
Green Bay,
Niners are 3-4. Huh?
the Green Bay Packers. This is
Are
just a year of struggles.
Well, it's the NFL. This shit happens. And are the Packers, Rams, Niners, or Bucks, are those teams panicking?
No, absolutely
No.
not.
The only
And
team panicking is the Colts. And I don't know why.
see, like I said, bro, more will come out, but there has to be more that us fans don't know about or the media don't know about. And for the media to be pushing the fact that Matt Ryan's washed up, stop doing that, please. Like,
Well, there's a reason why. And so they stay in good, like with Ursay, and Ursay is the owner. This is my take on it, is that Ursay is tired of this quarterback carousel. He's tired of bringing in Philip Rivers, Carson Wentz, Matt Ryan, and it never working. He's sick and tired of it. But the thing is, he's acting what you want out of an owner is a level headed leader who's going to guide you through a season and have you in position to make a playoff run late in the year. You don't want an emotional, chaotic fan, for lack of a better term. And that's what Jim Irsay is coming across as, a fan who's upset and emotional and panicking. And this is the wrong move, Colts. It's the wrong move. Look, Irsay, if you want to panic, if you want to throw somebody under the bus, I know just the name. Do you know who I'm going to say?
Frank Reich.
Frank Reich. Fire the head coach. Name an interim. Don't you have who's your DC? Isn't it Gus Bradley?
Yep.
Name him interim head coach. Boom.
And
Do not throw Matt Ryan under the bus. Throw Frank Reich under the bus, who is driving the bus for the last 4 years.
you want to know something interesting too, Alex?
Yeah.
So you brought up, Ursay tired of having all these quarterbacks come in, because it's been four different quarterbacks in 4 years.
Yeah.
So he had the opportunity.
Yes.
He had the opportunity to get an offensive line to protect Andrew Luck. Okay.
Yeah.
Chris Ballard refused. sorry, I'm just a little,
No, go
upset.
for it.
But Chris Ballard refused. Andrew Luck asked for help. He said, "I need an O line," and he refused. He was more worried about other things. If you would have got Andrew Luck an offensive line before he had serious injuries, you would have a franchise quarterback.
Yeah.
It comes down to you guys and the GM not being incompetent. When your star quarterback, your superstar, really probably the best quarterback you've had since Peyton Manning, which is the truth, then
Hmm.
you have to listen to him, get him some help, and he would still be there.
Absolutely. I don't know why more franchises don't listen to their star quarterbacks. Green Bay's out here pissing off Aaron Rodgers, wondering why he wants to leave. It's like, yeah, you fired his quarterback coach without consulting him. You got rid of his favorite targets without trying to keep him. Like that's the kind of stuff that'll piss off a franchise quarterback. Look how Seattle treated Russell Wilson. You
Yeah,
know, you see it all around the league and these franchises are surprised when it happens. I don't get it. Um, to me, the perfect fall guy in Indy is Frank Reich, and in my opinion, you're 3-3-1. There doesn't need to be a fall guy. If you are 3-6, okay, let's have a fall guy. But 3-3-1, plenty of time to turn it around. And
yeah.
let me tell you, Sam Ellinger is not the guy that's going to turn it around. You're
Okay,
talking
so
about a guy that is a sixth round pick, and you're talking about a guy that has not thrown his first pass in the NFL yet. There's going to be a learning curve.
absolutely. So let me say this though, okay, real quick. So
Yeah.
Ellinger from the preseason, he does have a big arm,
Mm-hmm.
and part of me is thinking with Matt Ryan not being able to move, with the O line being bad, maybe because Sam has legs and can move really well, that maybe that was another factor. But at the end of the day, what if Ellinger goes out and loses you three straight and Matt Ryan's healthy? You're telling
Yeah,
me I want to go to him?
exactly. That's why you don't say for the rest of the season. And watch, they're probably gonna. I don't think Matt Ryan's played his last game for the Colts. I don't. I think
Absolutely.
it's all bullshit, and I think that they misspoke. Why would anyone ever say that? You never know what's going to happen 3 weeks from now. On this coming Sunday, two quarterbacks could get knocked out of the game, and then you need Matt Ryan. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I mean, come on now. If Sam struggles, are you really going to put in Nick Foles? I mean,
I think so. But then Nick Foles is going to struggle so badly that Matt Ryan's going to look like the savior again.
if you put in Nick Foles, man, I might not even watch you guys play. I'm sorry, that's going to be terrible.
Well, so I mean, and one of the biggest things they're talking about, they're referencing. Here's a Frank Reich quote. He said, at the end of the day, coaches are judged on wins and losses, and quarterbacks are judged on points, production, and turnovers. I got a quick question though. They keep referencing Matt Ryan's turnovers. Didn't Matthew Stafford just win the Super Bowl last year?
Yes, he did.
And didn't he lead the NFL in interceptions?
Yeah, or how about Brett Favre, who I think is one of the all-time leaders in interceptions, and out of all these quarterbacks, like, come on, man, and the fumbles. Matt Ryan's just not like, oh, here you go, I'm gonna fumble the ball. He's fumbling because he doesn't have time.
Yeah.
Give
No,
him
I
time.
mean, look, I took some time today and went back and watched a lot of film on Matt Ryan this year because when the news came out, I was like, what are you talking about? Matt Ryan has not been bad. Like, I know the turnovers are there, whatever, but Matt Ryan is making enough plays to have you guys in every single game with an opportunity to win them all. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah,
it might not be pretty, but he's finding ways to win against Jacksonville, against Denver, and keeping you in games. So I went back and looked at the tape. Bro, Matt Ryan is not that bad. And in my opinion, he's playing better than Carson Wentz did last year. I know the turnovers are up, but he's making up for it with other, better throws and being more accurate. He's
but
doing everything he can. I don't see Matt Ryan being the reason why they're struggling at all. I think it's O line play. I think it's a lack of dedication to the run game, and the defense hasn't been healthy. How about all those factors? How about Jonathan Taylor missing time? How about, all that stuff? I mean, the Colts don't seem to be taking any of that into consideration. They just want someone to blame.
Yeah,
And for what? You're 500. What are you blaming?
yeah, and you know, my last thing is, man. First of all, you're blaming a guy who came already, what was in my opinion, to a questionable team. You know,
Yeah,
uh, a dumpster fire that was already started because Frank Reich just is not a very good head coach. And you know, like I said, they knew what they were getting with Matt Ryan. You had multiple choices to go out there and get somebody else. And lastly, I agree. This is not the last time that we see Matt Ryan, and he was second in the league until Sunday in passing yards. And at the end of the day, if you need a 1 minute and 30-second drive, you're telling me you want Sam Ellinger out there instead of Matt Ryan. That's a bunch of
absolutely. Absolutely not. And it's like the Colts don't remember what happened just last week when Matt Ryan had the game winning touchdown drive to beat the Jags. Like, come on. And lastly, let me say this. Since the year 2018, it's been a while. I've been calling for Frank Reich to be fired since 2018. He was never the right guy for the job. You were right. It's like the GM and the head coach have some kind of soft spot for him. They seem to love Frank Reich. He sucks. He's overrated. And coming from experience, when you have a head coach that's got multiple quarterbacks that can't get it done, for the Bears, it was Mitch Trubisky, Andy Dalton, Nick Foles, Justin Fields. When Matt Nagy couldn't make it work with four different quarterbacks, guess who was the guy who they finally figured it out? Who was the problem? Matt effing Nagy, right?
yes.
When the Colts don't make it work with Philip Rivers, Carson Wentz, Matt Ryan, the list goes on and on. Guess who the issue is?
Yep.
Frank Reich.
And
Fire the head coach. Do it sooner than later. Otherwise, it's going to keep being an issue. Ursay
that,
needs to start listening to our podcast.
that's the thing is though, Alex, is people act like when Philip Rivers was there, he actually had a pretty good season. He took them to the playoffs.
Yeah.
And
But even back then, there was Frank Reich decisions that were hurting the team. And I remember Frank Reich coached Andrew Luck for a year, right?
yes, he did.
Yeah, and that was going back to then. Remember when Frank Reich went forward on fourth down in overtime against the Texans and cost the team a tie and would rather take the loss?
Yep.
Yeah, great math. Talk about an analytics guy. Great math on that one. A loss is worse than a tie, Frank.
Let me say this one last thing. I promise this is it, okay?
Yep.
So if you give so any quarterback in the league, if you gave them the Colts O line, you're telling me if Brady was under that much pressure, he wouldn't fumble. You're telling me Aaron Rodgers wouldn't fumble if he was constantly being hit. I
No,
mean,
man.
quarterback
The most elusive quarterbacks in football, Lamar Jackson would be running for his life.
absolutely. And another bad thing about this move is now Sam Ellinger, who was on the practice squad, and I mean, obviously taking second team reps, but now he has to get communication and other things with these receivers. Now they have to learn chemistry and all this kind of stuff,
Yep.
and it's just frustrating, man.
It is. I don't blame you for being frustrated. Look, I would, you were frustrated after the loss, first of all, and it's like, look, I get it, but it's an overreaction. You're 500. You got plenty of football left in front of you, and then this comes out on Monday, and I was like, what? What are you talking about? And the more I've taken time to digest it, the more it makes less and less sense to me. I don't get it, and it's a complete overreaction. And if the Colts, if Ursay wants a fall guy, he should look at the head coach, not the quarterback.
Do you
Uh,
think this is the Colts secretly saying we want to tank to finally go out and get that franchise quarterback, or Is it just
That's
a bad?
fine. That's fine if that's the decision they want to make, but I don't think that I don't know. I don't really understand it. You're 500. Why start tanking now when you don't know if the Colts can get it going at some point later in the year and go on a run? You have no idea. Like I said, the Bucks, Packers, Niners, and Rams, none of them are panicking. Why are you panicking? I don't get it.
Matt Ryan will be back, Colts fans. Just let's ride this out because if he's not, I'm gonna be one not happy Colts fan because that's just so wrong to do to a guy who did nothing wrong.
Yeah, the problem is by the time he comes back, they might be already eliminated from the playoffs. So we'll
And then
see.
and then he's gonna get the blame for it. Just watch.
um, so Titans at Texans, it's a road divisional game. We'll see if the Titans can keep their win streak alive, get to 5-2. For the Colts, it's going to be the 3-4 Commanders and Taylor Henneke at the 3-1 Colts with Sam Ellinger. How do you see this game going? Honestly, I think the Colts could pull a win out here, but Taylor Henneke, you never know.
And Taylor Henneke started playing better, first of all.
Yeah.
And you know, I'm gonna go with Indy though. I think Sam Ellinger. Maybe this is Frank Reich saying, finally, I can run the ball more. Keep less passes and all that. Hopefully, I'll be there. So I'm hoping for a win.
Yeah. Should be a great game. Let's go to the Commanders. Let's talk about them. Taylor Henneke getting the start at home against the Packers on Sunday. Packers coming off 2 losses, so a big game to kind of right the ship. And they're going up against the backup quarterback, so they feel like they can. But honestly, we talked about this last week that maybe Taylor Henneke would be an upgrade over Carson Wentz,
Mm-hmm.
and he struggled to start the game. They were down. Packers go up 14-3. Henneke, was like 1 for 6 passing and threw a pick six. So Packers jump out to a 14-3 lead, but he got it going in the second half, and they come back to win 23-21. Henneke throws for 200 plus yards, 2 touchdowns, and a pick. Brian Robinson Jr., the running back, goes for 86 yards. Aaron Rodgers, throws for less than 200 yards, 2 touchdowns, but Green Bay can't get it done. Frustrating game and frustrating season for the Packers so far. What do you see when you're watching this Packers team?
Man, I see a quarterback who needs help.
Yeah,
I
and
mean,
lack of weapons mostly.
he's throwing to rookies.
Yeah,
Besides Lazard, but and then at the same time, your defense, the Packers rank, I think, towards the bottom of the NFL in stopping the run.
yeah.
And it's just bad overall over there right now. And, poor Aaron Rodgers. But hear me out, right? I thought about this. Do you think if Rodgers would have made his decision sooner, that the Packers may have never wanted to trade Devontae, or was that already a decision made?
I've got a lot of questions that I want answers to about that because was Aaron Rodgers told that the Packers were going to do everything in their power to keep Devontae, and that's why he stayed? Or did Aaron Rodgers know that it was likely Devontae wasn't going to be able to return and he still stayed? Because this is my take. Aaron Rodgers should have never returned to Green Bay. He's old. He's in the twilight of his career. He should have gone to the Denver Broncos and tried to go out on top with a championship there. They have much better weapons. He's familiar with the head coach. And at this point in his career, he's probably the better quarterback than Russell Wilson. I think the Broncos would have had a much better shot at contending with Aaron Rodgers. Don't you agree?
I agree. And you give Rodgers a defense like Denver, oh boy.
Give him that defense. Give him Cortland Sutton, Jerry Judy, guys like that. He should have gone to the Broncos. I think Aaron Rodgers is regretting his decision to stay in Green Bay. They're 3-4 now. You're starting to see some cracks in Matt LaFleur's offensive play calling. And then, how about this? It doesn't get any easier for the Packers. They're under 500, and now they got to go to Buffalo on Sunday Night Football. The Packers might be looking at 3-5 after week 8.
Mm-hmm.
That's
Yeah,
uh that's going to be an odd look for Green Bay if they can't pull a major upset.
that's a big time upset. That's going to take a lot.
Yeah, and I just don't see it. You know, the same concerns I have about my Bears, about just complete lack of weapons. Same thing in Green Bay. Where is Christian Watson, the second round rookie wide receiver? Where's he even been?
I don't know.
Non-existent, bro. Romeo Dobbs is one of the better production guys. You know, Randall Cobb's hurt. Alan Lazard, he doesn't look like the Pro Bowler that they were hoping he could turn
You,
into. They're obviously missing Devontae, you know.
you know who's been disappointing though?
Uh,
Amari.
Amari Rogers,
Yes.
yeah, he's been disappointing. He can't even, return punts without fumbling the ball. Um, Sammy Watkins, what's he done for him?
Yeah, and you can't expect to use Jamal Adams and Dylan all the time out of the backfield.
Aaron Jones, you mean?
Or yeah. Sorry, Aaron
Yeah,
Jones.
I would be using Aaron Jones like crazy, and AJ Dillon. They seem to be going away from them too. And it's like I don't know what's going on in Green Bay, man. And their defense couldn't get off the field against Taylor Henneke. So there's a lot of issues there. It's much more than just receiver too. I think Green Bay is going to be 3-5, and Minnesota might be able to take their foot off the gas and win that division.
Yeah. Do you think? Do you think maybe this is the last year we see Rodgers play football?
I don't know. Um, if I don't know, it's going to be. Does he want to go out? Missing the playoffs. There's a lot in play in Green Bay, and I'm looking forward to it. We got the entire second half of the season still to come, so it's going to be interesting how all this plays out. I don't think Green Bay's done yet. I think they're going to put up a fight, get back into the mix, but it's going to be awfully tough on Sunday night. Um, for the Commanders, they're at the Colts. We just talked about this. I think the Commanders could win this game. We'll see how Sam Ellinger looks, but you're right. Taylor Henneke, I think he's playing better than Carson Wentz. He might end the season as a starter.
Yeah, and man, I believe this is Carson's last shot.
Yeah, I mean, he's going to keep getting opportunities, I think, but it's pretty clear that he's not the guy.
Yeah,
Um, let's go Jets Broncos. Russell Wilson out with a hamstring, so Brett Rippon getting the start. He's 1-0 in his career. So the Jets get the win 16-9. Jets defense has really stepped up, and they've now won 4 straight games after starting 0-2. The Jets are after their Jets are now 5-2 on the season. How about that? 5-2 Jets.
yeah. Them draft picks that I was talking about are really paying off.
Yeah, Zach Wilson playing well.
And
One of the guys though, Brees Hall, one of the top rookies, out for the season with a torn ACL. A big loss there.
yeah, but you go and get James Robinson.
Yeah, great. Good job going to get James Robinson. That sucks for Brees having a torn ACL, and James Robinson isn't Brees Hall. That's a big loss for the Jets.
Yeah, I agree, but James Robinson, I think, can do enough.
He can fill in, but I mean, Brees Hall was a star. He's a
Oh yeah,
game breaker. Um, the Jets are worse off without Brees Hall, but good to go get James Robinson. They've still got Michael Carter and Ty Johnson, so they got 3 running backs. Maybe James Robinson will get some more touches. In New York. They also lose Elijah Vera Tucker on the O line, torn triceps, also out for the season.
yeah, that's a huge loss.
Yep.
He's good.
Um, So 5-2 Jets will host the 3-4 Patriots on Sunday. Do you think the Jets get the 6-2? Honestly, bro, give me the Patriots.
Even after getting the doors blown off?
Yeah, because I think that's gonna fire them up. We'll see who starts. I think Mac Jones is gonna start at quarterback. I do think the Patriots bounce back. I don't think they're nearly as bad as they played on Monday night. I don't think the Jets are a 6-2 ball club. I like their defense, but the Patriots should have something, up their sleeve. I know Bill Belichick wants to beat the Jets. Give me the Patriots on the road on Sunday.
Oh, it's on the road too. Give me
Yep,
the
in New York. Give you the Jets.
yep.
I think Brees Hall is a big loss. I think that's going to hurt him more than people think. So we'll see on that one. But good story for the Jets to get the 5-2. I mean, when's the last time that's happened? Probably since the Mark Sanchez days.
Yeah, absolutely.
Texans at Raiders, big win for the Raiders, 38-20. Deron Harmon gets the game clinching pick six. Um, Josh Jacobs has been on fire. Three straight games with 140 or more rushing yards. So
Wow.
feed Josh Jacobs. The Raiders, you know, get the 2-4, a big win, and they're at the Saints. So maybe the Raiders can get the 3-4 and turn the season around. We were, they looked pretty dead at 1-4.
Yeah. And why is it, Alex, lately that I understand that the NFL is a passing league, but we now have a different breed of running backs in there, and some of these guys are studs, man.
I think we're seeing a change in the game a little bit this year. Tell me if you agree. The last couple of years, everyone's been talking about it's a passing league, all these yards, blah blah blah. It This season especially seems to be a shift in more towards playing good defense and running the ball. Do you agree?
Absolutely.
And so we'll see. I mean, and I'm telling you, the second half of the season, when the weather starts to turn, it starts to get colder. Defense and running game is only gonna get more and more impactful. So this might be a throwback type season in the NFL.
Yep, I agree.
For the Texans, they are hosting the Titans. Good opportunity for the Titans to get to 5-2. Looks like it's going to be another long season for the Texans, sitting at 1-4-1.
Yeah. Oh man. They're gonna end up 1-5-1.
Yeah, I think so. They need a quarterback. I think. I don't think Davis Mills is the guy, and they need to continue to build the roster around him. I do like Damian Pierce. I don't think Davis Mills is the guy long term. Do you?
I haven't seen enough yet to make that you know, kind of, opinion, but
I think I
that the
think it
Texans
like
bad.
you could put Davis Mills on a team with put Davis Mills on the Jets with a dominant defense and Brees Hall, and I think he could win and get you to the playoffs. But Davis Mills on the Texans with a bad defense and not a lot around him, they're gonna struggle. Do you agree with that?
Oh yeah, absolutely. He has to be in the right situation,
Yeah,
And Houston's just a bad team.
yeah, exactly. And he's not good enough to overcome it. So let's go Seahawks at Chargers. This game, everyone's going to pick the Chargers at home and Justin Herbert and that offense. I picked the Seahawks on the road, one of my bold picks of the weekend, and the Seahawks jump out to a 17 nothing first quarter lead and win 37-23 in LA. Massive road win to get above 500. No one thought the Seahawks were going to be 4-3, including me and you. Geno Smith balling out, Kenneth Walker taking advantage of the opportunity, and the Seahawks defense playing pretty well. How surprised were you to see the Seahawks go into SoFi and beat the Chargers?
Yeah, I was very surprised, because I was high on the Chargers as a lot of us were because of the stuff that they did this offseason. But man, the Chargers don't look as great as we thought.
Yeah, they fall to 4-3, and I'm gonna bring it up. Not a lot of people want to hear it, but do the Chargers miss the playoffs again this year? I mean, all this praise. Justin Herbert is a media favorite. You see him on the commercials. He can make all the throws. He's the sexy pick, right? Yet, time and time again, they're not winning enough games. And I would think this year of all years, the Chargers have enough talent to get it done. Don't you think?
Absolutely.
So, what do you think is the issue with? Is it Herbert, or is it the team around him, or is it maybe the head coach?
Ooh, at the end of the day, I always say it's got to come down to Staley.
I
You know,
think it comes down to Staley, reckless decisions. I mean, you got Justin Herbert, you got Austin Eckler. I know Keenan Allen's been hurt. Now Mike Williams is hurt. So that plays a role. Now, on top of that, corner J.C. Jackson, one of their big additions in the offseason, suffers a ruptured patella tendon, out for the season.
yeah, that's a major loss.
Yep. He hadn't been playing that well, but still, he's your corner number one. And so now it puts more pressure on Asante Samuel Jr., Derwin James, and the secondary to step up in his absence.
Yeah, and Samuel Jr. is not that bad.
Yeah, I like Asante, but the question is, how bad does it get after Asante? It's
Yeah,
not just Asante. You got to go deep into the bench now. Um, but I mean, credit. How about the Seahawks at 4-3, winning games we never would have thought they won? Honestly, bro, the defense is good. Geno's good. I think Kenneth Walker unlocks potential with this team that they haven't had since Marshawn Lynch. I That's how high praise I had for Kenneth Walker. I think he can be a difference maker and maybe get this team into the playoffs.
yeah. Playoffs. That's hard. Because how long can Gino keep this up? That's
Yep.
my
And it's a
and
tough division.
but me and you, I have to admit, bro, we were kind of a little overreacting a little bit when we said that Seattle loses Russell Wilson, that they may be one of the worst teams in the league.
Look, nothing in my mind thought Geno Smith was going to perform well at all. I thought Geno Smith, if Russell Wilson's struggling in this offense, that Geno Smith is going to be 10 times worse, was my thought. Geno Smith hadn't done shit since his first 2 years with the Jets, and even then he was average. The fact that Geno's balling out the way he is, protecting the football for the most part, and keeping his team competitive in games, man, me and you, no one would have seen this coming. I don't think Geno's playing great. Credit to him.
Yeah, man. Exactly. And I think he's at the perfect opportunity. He has Pete Carroll, somebody who knows what they're doing.
Yeah, and he's got DK Metcalf, Tyler Lockett, Noah Fant, D. Eskridge. He's got weapons. Even Marquise Goodwin catches 2 touchdowns in this game. His first 2 touchdown game since 2018. I mean, the Seahawks are just plugging guys in and getting it done. Credit to them, man.
Yep.
And like I said, I got the Seahawks getting to 5-3. The media is going to be loving the Seahawks if they beat the Giants on Sunday.
Yeah, I agree.
And the Chargers go into their bye at 4-3, below expectations and injury hit. We'll see if the Chargers can turn their season around, because this is not where Charger fans wanted to be. Charger fans had to be thinking they should be at least 5-2 or 6-1 at this point, right?
Yep.
So, very interesting position to be in. I'm not gonna give Justin Herbert all that praise until I see him in a playoff game, and I'd like to see him in a playoff game and at least get a playoff win before I crown his ass. But
Yeah.
Chiefs at Niners. I picked the Niners to win this game, but they jump out to a 10-0 first quarter lead, but the Chiefs rally and win 44-23. The Chiefs responded in a major way after that loss to the Bills. Um, Christian McCaffrey makes his 49ers debut. What did you think watching this game? The Chiefs, played very well in San Francisco.
They did play good, and they showed up. Jimmy G had a couple, or Jimmy G, yeah, Jimmy G had a couple mistakes. And McCaffrey just has to get used to the offense.
Yeah, he'll get better. He comes in 2 days after getting traded, so he's not going to know the full offense. Um, Jimmy G with some terrible mistakes. The Niners were in position to take the lead right before halftime, and Garoppolo throws a terrible interception. Um, you know, uh, Mahomes balls out, throws for 400 plus yards, 3 touchdowns, 1 pick. McCole Hardman with 3 touchdowns. Juju Smith Schuster goes for over 100 yards, getting it going. The Chiefs are looking good, and I think the Niners will get it going. I'm not too worried about 3-4. They're still a good team, in my opinion.
Yeah, for sure, they're gonna get it going. I just think that they had a bad day.
Yeah, now they've lost 2 in a row, so pressure will be on them to get it going in week 8. Um, and that's a big ass game. The 3-4 Niners at the 3-3 Rams on Sunday. I can't stop with these bold takes. Give me the Niners to go into LA and get a big win on Sunday.
I'm going San Francisco as well.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
So that makes me curious. Why are you not picking the Rams here? I would have thought you were going to take LA.
Because I don't see a team coached by Kyle Shanahan losing 3 in a row.
Okay.
I just don't. And they're going to be angry. And Jimmy G is not going to make those same mistakes. And that defense has been a thorn in the side of Matthew Stafford.
Yes, I was hoping you were gonna have one more take on here. One more. I know one take that I'm gonna say about this game.
Stafford throws a pick six.
I mean, probably a pick six. Yes, at least a couple turnovers, and I think that's the difference why the Niners win the game. But yeah, I mean, I think Stafford throws a pick six. He's thrown a few of them. He's thrown the most in the NFL since 2020. The Rams are still a good team. They can they can fall to 3-4 and still rebound and get into the playoffs. You agree, right?
Yeah, I agree.
So give me the Niners. The Chiefs get to 5-2 and go into their bye week, and the Chiefs are looking good. You know, uh, and surprisingly, they seem to be kind of almost running away with the AFC West once again. I mean, what do you think on that?
Yeah. I mean, they're 5-2. Everybody else in the AFC West is struggling. Denver right now is nobody to worry about.
The
Uh
Raiders,
the Raiders could get better. I mean, it's trending that way.
yeah, but they're 2-4, and then the
Yeah,
Chargers are what, four
three
and
and
three?
yep.
The Chargers have to feel like that was such a blown opportunity. They should have been 5-2 and tied with the Chiefs, and yet here they are, a game back. Like the Chargers just can't stay out of their own way, man.
Yeah. See, that's the thing is the Chargers are talented. They just can't seem to pull games off. And when
And when Brandon Staley's making dumbass decisions, that only compounds it.
yep, for sure.
And credit to Andy Reid. Look, you lose Tyreek Hill, one of the best weapons in the entire league, and you're still just as explosive, if not maybe even more. Credit to Andy Reid, man. He is the ultimate genius, don't you think?
Yeah, for sure, man. Andy Reid is, in my opinion, one of the greatest coaches in NFL history.
Yeah.
You know,
And as much shit as I give Patrick Mahomes for like the turnovers at times and stuff like that, he never quits. Even when he has a bad turnover, he's going to continue to go out there and sling it all over the field. with confidence. And if you're gonna turn the ball over, at least have the ability to block it out and still play confidently. I like that at least, you know.
Yep, for sure.
Um, Sunday night football: the 2-4 Steelers at the 3-3 Dolphins. Miami looking to snap a 3-game losing streak, and they're getting their guy back, Tua Tagovailoa, back from concussion protocol, good to go. Kenny Pickett, the rookie quarterback for the Steelers, gets a start. I would have started Trubisky, simply because Pickett's coming off a concussion. I would have played it safe. Dolphins jump out to a 13-0 first quarter lead. It looked like the Dolphins were going to blow this game wide open. You know, they started out so hot on offense and then only scored 6 more points the rest of the 3 quarters, after a hot start. What do you think happened to the Dolphins? They get up 13-0. It looked like they were going to win like 35-10 or something, right?
Yeah.
Why do you think the Dolphins offense went stale the rest of the game?
I don't think it was really the Dolphins offense because I watched the game. I just think that the Steelers made adjustments and got better on defense.
Yeah, they played better. But one thing, bro, Tua hit Steeler defenders in the hands like 4 times. They could have picked Tua off 3 or 4 different times. They couldn't catch an interception.
Yeah,
They
you
were,
have to catch those, and you have to. I'm surprised Miami's not as explosive as they are on paper.
yeah. Well, that's the thing. On paper, you can be explosive as hell. I mean, let me break it down for you this way. Because Tyreek Hill comes from Kansas City to Miami. You look at the Dolphins' weapons and you say, man, they could light the NFL on fire. The biggest difference to me is this: one team has Andy Reid, who is a genius offensive play caller. The other team has Mike McDaniel, who's a rookie head coach. Give me Andy Reid 100 times out of 100. Do you agree?
Yes, absolutely.
Give me if Andy Reid's coaching the Dolphins, I bet they're the high flying offense the Chiefs are. If you put Mike McDaniel on the Chiefs, but they struggle a lot more.
Yep.
That's simply how I see it. And Mahomes is a better quarterback than Tua, but do you think that's a massive difference between the two? Or do you think it's more offensive play calling?
I think it's more, you know, offensive play calling, and Tua was rusty.
Yeah, he'll get it going. Yeah, I agree. I mean, bro, Kenny Pickett had multiple opportunities to win this game. The Dolphins. So if you remember, the Dolphins had an opportunity to kick a field goal to go up 9 uh, in the second half, and instead they went forward on 4th and 3, turnover on downs, and that kept the Steelers in the game. That really should have come back and cost the Dolphins the game, don't you think?
Yeah, man. I just guess none of these coaches are getting it, are they?
No, they're not. They keep making the same mistakes. And I swear, if Mitch Trubisky started, the Steelers would have found a way to win that. But instead, the rookie Kenny Pickett, 2 late interceptions cost the Steelers in the end. So the Dolphins defense steps up and gets the win, 16-10. You know, what do you
Well,
think of this? Go ahead.
that's what's getting me is Mike Tomlin knows in situations like that, you know, you need wins right now. Why still start the rookie when you have a guy who's won games behind him that can start?
2 things. I think ownership, the Rooney family, is playing a role in this and saying, look, Trubisky's not our guy long term. We need to figure out who Kenny Pickett is right now, you know? And so if we struggle and Kenny Pickett doesn't get it done, maybe we draft another quarterback or bring in a veteran in the offseason. But they're trying to evaluate Kenny Pickett. And so I think that the media and the fans care a lot more about Mike Tomlin never having a losing season than Mike Tomlin cares. Mike Tomlin's built up job security for so many years, that he can have a losing season. Mike Tomlin could go 0-16. They're gonna bring him back, you know.
Yep, for sure.
So he can afford a losing season to evaluate Kenny Pickett so that they see what they got. That might honestly be the smart approach if you're the Steelers and you can afford to throw this season away, you know?
Yep, absolutely.
Um, so the Steelers fall to 2-5. It doesn't get any easier as they're gonna go to Philly to take on the 6-0 Eagles. I think the Steelers fall to 2-6, don't you?
Yes, I do.
And then for the Dolphins, they get to 4-3. They go at Detroit at Ford Field to take on the 1-5 Lions. So if the Dolphins can get to 5-3, the Lions staring right down the barrel of a 1-6 start.
Yeah, that's man. It could get ugly.
Yeah, I mean, well, I predicted, I said all along, they're not going to win more than 6 games, 4 or 5 wins. Doesn't that sound pretty realistic right now?
Right now, it does. Yeah, I just thought that they had just a little bit more better talent to reach 7 wins.
Bro, if Brett was, I wish Brett was on here so I could get Brett to admit Jared Goff isn't any good.
He probably would.
Yeah, I remember that conversation last off, like the 2021 off season, where people were like, Jared Goff is still pretty good. I'm like, nah, not at all. Yeah, I mean, give me Mitch Trubisky over Jared Goff
Yeah.
at this point in their career because Trubisky don't turn the ball over like that. That's the biggest thing holding him back and holding the Lions back. Let's go Monday night. 2-4 Bears at the 3-3 Patriots in Foxborough. Mac Jones returning from an ankle injury. A lot of people anticipating the Patriots to take care of business and get this win. What did you think going into the game? Did you think the Patriots were going to get the win?
I did,
Yeah.
but I thought it was going to be a good game. But man, I did not expect Chicago to come out and play like that.
No, neither did I. The Bears jump out to a 10-0 first quarter lead. So that surprised everyone. In comes Bailey Zappi. Mac Jones started slow, looked rusty, looked like he was still battling the ankle. Bailey Zappi comes in, provides a spark. Patriots take a 14-10 lead, and it looked like here we go. Bailey Zappi is gonna lead the Patriots to a big win on Monday night. Get to 3-0 as a start. Get to, or not 3-0 as a starter, but get a big win. But the Bears keep fighting. They get a 20-14 halftime lead and win 33-14 over the Patriots. Bailey Zappi comes back down to earth with a couple turnovers in the second half. Um, but what do you think of the Bears? Justin Fields probably played the best game of his NFL career on Monday night. Do you agree?
Oh yeah, by far, man. He looked like the Justin Fields that Bears fans want him to be.
Yeah. And anytime you can go into Foxborough and beat Bill Belichick's Patriots, kudos to you. 3 interceptions from the Bears defense, one for each of Roquan Smith, Jaquan Brisker, and Kyler Gordon. Um, that defense, there's good young pieces. To me, I tweeted this out. I said the Bears have to hang on to these 3 guys: Roquan Smith, Jalen Johnson, and Jaquan Brisker. If you can build around those 3, that's a hell of a foundation for any defense. Do you agree?
Yeah, I agree. Yep.
And so I don't know why Bear fans keep talking about wanting to trade Roquan Smith and don't want to pay him. Um, give Roquan Smith highest paid linebacker money and let's move on and stop having this stupid ass conversation.
Bears fans are just feeding into the media.
I don't get it because they're worried about the Bears saving their money. It's like, bro, the Bears are $1 billion organization. Quit worrying about the McCaskey's money. Pay Roquan Smith. He's earned it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't
Yep.
like it. I love the two-headed monster attack of David Montgomery and Khalil Herbert. And then with Justin Fields on top of that, that's a great, backfield. But still to this day, the receiving core for the Bears is holding them back. Darnell Mooney is solid, but outside of him, N'Keal Harry, I think he had one catch in the game, maybe two. Pettis, Equinemius St. Brown, Bayless Jones, Pringle's been hurt. Bears need to upgrade that receiving core. The Bears
Didn't
get to go ahead.
didn't Pettis play pretty well?
No. I mean, he had like an end around for some yards, but no, I mean, he's a wide receiver 4, he's not any good. I don't like the Bears receivers at all outside of Mooney. Pringle's been hurt. He's on IR. He's expected to come back soon. N'Keal Harry, he's been washed up since New England. Like,
But you
I
know
don't
what?
know. What's
The
that?
run, the run game is pretty damn good.
Yes, the run game, and then Herbert or not Herbert, Fields just making shit happen. The Bears offense is at its best when Justin Fields is playing backyard football and just making magic happen. That's why I don't put too much on the offensive play calling. It's just Fields. Fields had like 4 fumbles where he mishandled the ball and picked it up and then just made magic happen.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll see if we can get, build an offense around Fields that actually gets helps them out, get them some weapons. I agree, the running game's doing their thing. So nice to see some progress and some future, some optimism in Chicago. They go to the Cowboys in week 8. That's going to be a tough one. Like I said, if the Bears go into Dallas and get a massive win, all right, I'll start giving them some credit. But I got the Cowboys winning by double digits. How about you?
Yeah, I agree with you.
And then 3-4 Patriots at the 5-2 Jets. Real quick, what's your thought on the Patriots quarterback situation? Who would you start in week 8 and going forward?
Um, at the moment, Mac Jones, because I mean he hasn't done nothing to lose the job.
Yeah, I mean, he looked rusty. He didn't look that good on Monday night, but he's coming off an injury. I agree. I would give him a couple more starts before I would bench him.
Yeah, and I don't know. I just think that at the end of the day, with Mac Jones' experience, that's the reason why I would still go with him. But if he takes you to where are they? They're what 2-5, 3-5
Three,
maybe.
they're 3-4. If they fall to 3-5, 3-6, then you might need to make a move.
Yeah, because then at that point, you're just playing to probably get Bailey's happy better or something.
Yeah. And then what do you think of Zappy? He had started out so good. He struggled in the second half on Monday night, but man, he certainly has the home crowd behind him. And if Mac Jones throws one pick or one overthrow, that crowd immediately starts chanting for Zappy.
Yeah, and that's kind of what's crazy is, man, the crowd turned on him so fast.
Yeah, and it's crazy when you have these quarterback issues. Home field almost becomes like a bad place to play because if you struggle at all, the home crowd is going to let you know. They're going to boo you or they're going to chant for your backup. Like the home fields in some places is almost just as bad as going on the road.
For sure, man. And these past couple years, man, these fans have been ruthless.
I kind of like it though.
I do. I do too, but they're starting to have no tolerance for guys. Like, if you're not producing, they want you done.
Yeah, very short patience. That's
Mm-hmm.
the NFL. That's the world we live in these days. It's pretty wild. Um, So some bright spots for the Patriots. Ramondre Stevenson combines for 98 yards and a touchdown. I still like him. And then how about this, bro? Linebacker Matthew Judon. He was always good in Baltimore. Last year, he had a career high 12 and a half sacks for the Patriots. Last night, 2.5 sacks and a forced fumble. so far this year, Matthew Judon currently leads the NFL in sacks with 8.5 and is on pace for a new career high. Like he's balling out in New England.
Yeah, he is. He's having a big year. And
Yeah,
back to the quarterback thing, real quick. We all just have to trust that Bill Belichick knows what he's doing, and I think he's going to make the right decision.
yeah. Um, what's your gut? Do you think Mac Jones plays better? He's going to New York against a very tough. Robert Saleh's got that defense balling out. What's your gut on how Mac Jones does? Do you think he gets benched for Bailey Zappi or starts to play better?
And that's
Because
hard to
this
tell.
is because to be honest, this is a crucial area of Mac Jones' career here. You don't want to get benched for Bailey Zappi. He needs to step his game up, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And maybe this was just Bill Belichick putting pressure on Mac Jones.
Yeah, and seeing how he responds to it, right?
Yep. And Troy Aikman said it yesterday or last night after the game. He said, Mac Jones is the guy who's going to be able to handle the adversity because Bill Belichick is no different than Nick Saban, and he came from a coach who teaches you how to rebound from having adversity and makes you a stronger person.
Absolutely. That's a good take. And I'll say this, if it comes down to week 8, honestly, I believe so, because if Mac Jones plays well and can go into New York and beat your bitter division rival, Patriots and Jets fans hate each other. They can go into New York, get a big win, get what, back to 500?
Yep.
If they can do that, then Mac Jones' job will be safe. But if you lose and perform badly, throw a couple of turnovers and lose to the Jets and fall to 3-5, then it's going to be a lot easier to put in Bailey Zappi. And then you're at home against the Colts. There's a game where you could possibly get right. Then you go into your bye, and you're playing the Jets again. So big 3 games coming up for the Patriots that will really determine how their season goes.
Yeah, I agree with you.
So, well, good shit as always, man. I mean, that was a fun podcast and so much going on in the NFL right now. I can't wait for week 8.
Yeah, for sure, man. It's gonna be a big week. There's a lot of teams that have to prove it, and a lot of questions to be answered.
Yep. Did you make your prediction? Let's quickly go over it. Thursday night, Ravens at Bucks. That's the next game coming up. Can't wait. That's got to be a must-win for Tampa Bay, right? You don't want to fall to 3-5.
Nope, I got the Bucks.
All right, I got the Bucks too. And what does that do? What's Pablo going to be saying if the Ravens fall to 4-4?
Ooh, I don't know. That'd be a question we'd have to ask him.
Yeah, and then that opens up. We'll know the Bengals will know what happens. Thursday night before their Monday night game against Cleveland. If the Ravens lose, and the Bengals have an opportunity to go into Cleveland on Monday night and take over sole possession of first place in that division.
Yeah, I'm going with the Bengals.
Yeah. Give me Cleveland.
Mm.
Give me Cleveland Monday night. So, well, good shit as always, bro. That was a fun podcast.
Yeah, it was fun, man. I guess we just have to wait and see what happens.
Yep. Don't forget to subscribe, like, leave a comment. Appreciate all the support, guys. We're gonna try to get keep this content coming out and try to get a big interview out to you here soon. So appreciate you guys. Thanks again, Dustin. Have a great week and peace out.